Being an introvert myself, it was definitely a hard change going into it. When I first joined M-Team. The rigorousness, the level of rigorousness definitely increased a lot. There was a lot expected, especially when competing at such a high level. 2020 was the first year that I began competing individually in freestyle Taekwondo. So having this new thing to start prepping for a tournament, especially a high-level tournament, it was it felt
Definitely
there was a lot of pressure to it.
A lot, especially in regards to not really just the skill element and learning how to do all of the difficult elements, but it was more
really dedicated. I'm really grateful to what she does. I see her sometimes posting in midnight practicing Taekwondo.
When I came to the studio, she was already doing Taekwondo, but I had to teach her to sometimes loosen up or have some fun, and then also not be so frustrated during sparring times, because sometimes she gets pretty
she's inspiring us, because I think she's got the right attitude and perspective on how she's just pursuing life, right? And it just happens she's a world-class elite Taekwondo Poomsae athlete.
She's doing exactly what she loves.
Yeah, she's pursuing her passions, and we couldn't be prouder for that.
Okay.
Okay, alright, who are you and how old are you?
Hi, my name is Allison DeGuzman. I'm 16. I'm a junior at Granada High School, and I'm also a Taekwondo athlete. I go to Elite Taekwondo Academy as my home dojo. I'm also a member of M-Team Taekwondo.
My wife went to multiple Taekwondo studios around town, in the area, and found, Elite Taekwondo, all places were nice. And there was nice facilities, but Master Jeff Avila, the way he spoke to kids, how he communicated to the kids, it wasn't just focusing on the Taekwondo sport, but it was also just how to be a good person, right? And how to hold yourself accountable, and how do you interact with other people, or how to be part of a community, and that was really important to us.
Mm-hmm. So I remember before Allison started, her brother was already started at the academy, and he was at a tournament, and we were getting ready for him to go, and she was off to the side just doing cartwheel after cartwheel after cartwheel after cartwheel, and I thought, wow, she's got a lot of energy. And I talked to her mom about that, and she said, always, always. So that's what I remember about Allison, with a lot of energy and always flipping.
So actually, I started Taekwondo the same day I quit gymnastics. My parents, after I quit gymnastics, my parents had talked to me. They said I needed to do another sport. They really believed in physical activity, especially as a 7-year-old at the time. And, well, they wanted me to pick a new sport. They suggested Taekwondo because my brother had already been enrolled.
How did I feel? Honestly, kind of indifferent about the whole thing. I know she was just coming out of gymnastics, which she did not like, and mostly trying to just get her to give Taekwondo a chance. So at that point, I was kind of indifferent to the whole thing.
It's really important that it's really important to us that our kids stay physically active, and Ali chose Taekwondo, gymnastics and Taekwondo.
After the trial class, I went up to my parents, and I was super ecstatic. I was like, please, I was begging them to sign me up for another class. I had so much fun. The joy that I felt during the class was more than I felt for any other sport. And at the time, I've already tried gymnastics, swimming, and soccer, and I never felt the same I did with Taekwondo.
So what made you? Why? What's that one thing that separated the other sports from Taekwondo?
I definitely think it was the freedom of movement. Whereas gymnastics, it felt very controlled. Like all my movements, I wasn't allowed to do my own thing Taekwondo, the quick movements, the punching, the kicking, it all felt really fun to me, and it felt like something new. It wasn't the mainstream kind of sport that people would expect.
Is there any sibling rivalry between the two of you? If so, is there any stories you want to share?
So definitely a few cases of sibling rivalry. A lot of it kind of the normal stuff, like who can kick harder, kick higher, stuff like that.
I know that competition between Alex and Ali, like Elite would hold a kickathon, and they do to support St. Jude's Hospital, and I know that those two would internally like who can kick more. And I remember they would challenge each other, and I think one year they actually had the exact same number of kicks. And I remember that they kind of looked at each other like, yeah, we tied, but I could tell they didn't want to lose. They actually wanted to beat each other.
Want to tie.
Right.
We did get in trouble at school one time, and we had to explain that to the teacher.
Explain more. Explain more.
So we kind of made it a little game between us, like to just randomly attack each other at school. She'd like do a lighthearted roundhouse kick to me, and then I'd come up to her, do a lighthearted roundhouse kick to her, and then just kind of walk away. No explanation at times. Unfortunately, one of the teachers just saw one of those exchanges and started getting kind of annoyed at both of us. So we both had to just kind of explain that for a few minutes.
So in our house, within our family, we did this for like 2 years, I think. We had an internal competition between Allison, her brother Alex, and myself. And what it was we had to do 50 push-ups and 50 sit-ups before we could take a bite of dinner. And for every time you do it, you get a point. And for every time you forget, you would lose a point. But in order for that to occur, you had to have a witness. So a judge or Grandma Astrid, who was with us, had to observe someone doing the push-up or sit-up, or each other. And oftentimes at the table, someone will take a bite, and then like Allison will ask, did you do your push-ups or sit-ups? And there are times when I didn't do my push-ups and sit-ups, so I would have to stop. I would have to go to the floor and do the push-ups and sit-ups while everyone else enjoys dinner. And the crazy thing about that is that we would do this competition, and we were actually engaging in fitness, but we were having fun, and we were being competitive with each other in the house. And Allison never lost. So mind you, we did this for 2 years. She never lost. Alex lost a few times. I lost a lot.
Is there anyone in Taekwondo or anywhere generally you look up to?
My brother, he was always there as moral support alongside me, especially with someone I can relate to because he also did Taekwondo. And just having someone I can talk to regarding the sport was definitely helpful to me. So soon after I started Taekwondo, Master Avla, my master at Elite Taekwondo, brought up the Stanford Open in 2013, I believe. And he was asking me if I was interested, and I was like, sure, I was curious to see what it would be like. Yeah, that was the first tournament I ever did. I ended up getting 3rd place, I believe. Yes, 3rd place, and I thought it was fun. I was trying new things, and I was like, I wanted to continue it. I had a lot of fun.
And then did Allison enjoy competing at first? Was there any worries in competitions?
She loves competitions.
Yeah, I think I would say Allison thrives in competition, and that goes back to when before Taekwondo, she played soccer, and she just has a very competitive nature to her. She did not like to lose. I think of a time when she did lose in a tournament, and she took 3rd place, and she got a medal. But I remember her. She was really young, and she didn't want to take a picture. When she got her medal, she was dragging it on the ground. She was really short, so the medal was on the ground. And I remember Master Avila saying, let's have a conversation. And it was right after the competition, Ali just looked at Master Avila with this look of like, and may have said things that wasn't probably appropriate. And so Master Avila let her cool down, and they had a conversation on the side. And I think that's really important because she was really competitive, and I think the relationship that she had with Master Avila helped channel that competitiveness in a more appropriate way. As a young child, and it let her understand sportsmanship. It learned about it's more than just medals. And I think that's one of the greatest things to occur at an early age, because we saw a shift in how she approached competition.
What is it like teaching Allison when she was starting Taekwondo?
When she was starting Taekwondo, or at least when I first met her, since when I came to the studio, she was already doing Taekwondo. I think the things I had to teach her were mostly that she was teaching me half the time because she was going to a different studio, so learning different techniques. But also that I had to teach her to sometimes loosen up, have some fun, and then also not be so frustrated during sparring times because sometimes she get pretty mad and then go all out on kids.
So I know she started doing competitions really early into her Taekwondo career. I know she started around like a yellow belt. So I recently stopped doing competitions because I was busy with other sports. But I know when I was at regular classes, I know that Mr. Avila had me assisting her with her Poomsae because I was one of the only few that knew the Poomsae rules at the time.
Earliest memory of Allison?
In Taekwondo? Oh, the inter-school tournament. I don't remember which one, but one of the inter-school tournaments, she was just, like, before she even started doing competitive Taekwondo, she was already, like, very good at Taekwondo. So I remember seeing her and being like, wow, that's crazy.
Some people say that they're dedicated to practicing and do a little bit of practice, but I see Allison all the time, constantly practicing. I see her in here after classes are over, practicing late into the night and on the weekends. So I would just say that complete dedication for her.
We would go to the store and she would be doing Poomsae in aisle 5 of the grocery store, right? Or we go into the mall and in the escalator she's doing kicks, and you know, and I'm like, and we're the ones who have to tell her stop.
And we never had problems with her not training for belt testing or for a competition because she will train on her own.
Yeah, she does train on her own.
She'll stay up late training.
Discuss her dedication to become a better athlete.
Ooh. I feel like she has a very mixed relationship with being good at Taekwondo, because I know she definitely works on herself and tries to get better, but I also feel like that doesn't really come about by like solely her own determination. I feel like a lot of it is pressure from her teammates and her family to compete well, but I know she does enjoy the sport and I know she does work hard.
She always wants to do all, like before she got into the M team stuff, she always wanted to do all the cool stuff, the show off stuff, like demo. Like she always wanted to do the flips, she always wanted to do the jumping kicks.
She's practices almost every day, but also like she gets really frustrated when she can't get something done, which also shows that she cares. And then sooner or later she does get to where she wants in her journey as being an athlete. And I think that's a reason why that she's such a great athlete today and is where she is today.
So when I first started Taekwondo, Jamie Ng was definitely my biggest inspiration. At the time, she was a member of M Team Taekwondo and a student at Elite Taekwondo. I was assigned to her, and she was my mentor. And she helped me through all my growth as up to my black belt. She definitely helped my growth as a Poomsae athlete and a sparring athlete.
Jamie Ng was a member of M Team. And we remember the family, Jamie and her family approaching us and saying, hey, I think your daughter is really good and she may value from being part of this community program based in San Jose. And I remember thinking, oh, that's a little too far, right? Yeah. And so we appreciated the gesture, but I was like, no, it was too far. But what happened was Jamie offered to provide like just lessons to not only to Allison, but to our son Alex on weekends. And without fail, like pretty much every weekend, I mean, with exceptions of maybe like vacations or just different things, they trained. And we just watched both our kids get better and better and better to the point where Ali started really vocalizing, I really want to join this team. And I mean...
And I had no choice. And say, yes, we'll drive you.